Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to PF Chang's. We will be having many delightful dishes. I am very attractive, and with me, as always, is noted pinochle apologist, Mike Magus. What's up?
Pinochle apologist. I apologize for nothing. Anyways, we are here to do the shakedown round for the ESR Multi-Class series at Chang. So we got
I
10
said PF Chang's, right?
We got
this place.
You were correct. We got 10 prototype P2s, Chevrolet Daytona prototypes, and we have 9 GT4 cars. That gives us our 19 car field. Also, 3 of our cars would like to remind you to visit Florida.com.
Giggity. Don't molest the gators.
That would be a bad idea.
Apparently they have signs up in Florida that say, don't molest the gators.
I mean, in fairness, the gators have heroin at this point, so, I mean...
No, it's meth.
Is it meth? I had heard heroin.
Yeah, people flushing meth down the toilet and getting in the waterways. Meth gators.
Fucking geniuses.
Chang.
Florida, you are screwed up. The name of this circuit is actually the Destination of Speed.
What now?
It is called the Destination of Speed. It's just in Chang, in Thailand.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was one of the cooler names, I think, for a track. But anyways, here we go. This is a non... Oh, there was actually 10 GT4s. This is a non-points paying race. It's just for practice. And here we go. And
Martin Edmonds already in the wall.
Somebody got hit in the background there. A orange and white BMW. Not sure who it is. Larry Foster by the looks of it. Mike Stoppel leads the way from Enrique Hervas, Martin Edmonds, and Richard DeRoche in the GT4 category. With the greatest start known to mankind, Michael Magus has gone from P6 to P1.
Do we have, is Javi P in the race?
Javi is here, yeah! He's in third place.
Yeah, go Javi! I have a new nickname for him.
Oh.
He will now be known as Tyrannosaurus Max.
He is the largely blue BMW M4. If you remember Douglas DeGroat's car from the Enduro, it's literally that same livery.
That's pretty gangster.
Dave Nelson on the tail of Zivo Duran, who's up from the back of the pack already to 4th place in GT4. Congratulations. And of course, that low-riding car, one of your favorites for the Bathurst 24 or 12 hours, sir, the KTM Crossbow.
Heck yeah, give him with the X-Bow right upside the head. Tear out that headlight. Use your jump cables.
I do have to say the Crossbow is in no way competitive on this track. It's way too slow in a straight line.
Brutal. We'll just make more corners and make it all corners.
So Martin Hughes, a little bit of a sitting duck in some areas here, as he holds off David Nelson and Alexander Saluko for the moment. Alexander came out strong and was looking real good in the practice, and then just couldn't really deliver in qualifying, and has gotten off to a bad start. Well, that's the breaks, I guess. He's down in 7th place.
I suddenly have an inspiration to make a new Trackmania track. But with my comment of make it all corners, I'm going to see how much I can fit on one Trackmania field. The one lap will be like, I don't even know how long.
It'll be exceedingly long. You know what I should do, actually, for my YouTube channel, is do some laps of the Byron tracks.
You should, indeed, especially the penis one. Maybe save that one.
And of course, kill the jobber.
Hell yeah, kill the jobber. That needs at least 5 runs just to see if you can beat the record. I don't even know what the record is anymore.
I think at one point in one of the LAN parties, we achieved literally the fastest time possible through Kill the Jobber. Like,
yeah,
we kept doing the exact same thing, and everyone's like, we can't go any faster. It's not possible.
Yeah,
it was a
20-way
tie for first place.
Nice. Good to know that there is a definitive answer out there.
There is. The answer, I don't remember what it was. It was something 0.7 seconds, though.
Yeah, I think that's the case, because we did a whole night, you and I, doing that. Just like, I can't believe this is such a simple thing, but yet so much fun.
Indeed. It was the only round I didn't win that night with the at the LAN party, actually, because, of course, My racing skill was for naught. It was just figuring out the trick.
Kill the jobber. Fun for everyone, and everybody wins eventually if you practice enough.
Actually, at the last LAN party, I had to work for it because Andrew Darby, he who burned the crap out of his CPU at one of our LAN parties. Yeah. The whole. For those who are unaware of the story, I was at my friend Fraser's house, and Fraser had taken over the entire house for the LAN party. This was when he was like, I don't know, 18 years old, and his parents were gone for the day. So it was like. We had computers in the kitchen, computers in the living room, computers in the basement, computers in the bed. Oh, Maxims, going off the track.
Why Max? Why?
Computers everywhere. So we're in the middle of the LAN party, 9 p.m. or so, and Christian, who is the guy who is managing the upstairs portion of the LAN party, comes down to where me and Fraser are, and is like, "We have a slight problem upstairs." And Fraser's like, "What is the problem?" And Christian's like, "It's just a slight problem." We're like, "What is the problem?" Darby's computer is on fire at this point. And thus leading to the second most amusing thing I've ever seen at a LAN party. The most amusing thing was the possessed computer, for the record.
In possession.
If I've not told you that one...
I think you have, I just don't remember.
And I definitely haven't told it on commentary, so, you know, everyone gets to enjoy this. We installed Diablo, the, you know, age-old, late 90s game. I think it was like 97 when it came out anyways. And we were going to do Diablo for the night. And our friend Brad had never played Diablo. So we had like, I don't know, 12 people at this LAN party. And we install Diablo on Brad's computer, and Brad's like, "Is this supposed to happen?" And I come over to his computer, and his C drive is turned into the Diablo symbol. And I walk into the garage where the other guys are. I'm like, "We need an old tech priest and a young tech priest." Brad's computer does, in fact, think that it is Diablo.
Someone get the scrubby pads from the kitchen, because we gonna need to clean this out.
Larry Foster on the tail of... Who is that? This is the problem with like a freebie event. I don't actually know who's who in the liveries. Dave Nelson. There we go. I figured it out. Sergio Mengual has overtaken Javier Perez Torres for third place. Go Javi! You'll make the comeback.
You can do it.
Do it if you try. Martin Edmonds in third place behind Enrique Hervas. I would have to say that Martin's livery is probably my favorite of the prototypes, the SunTrust car.
Is that because it looks like a creamsicle?
I mean, that's part of it. Oh, down the inside of turn number... that's technically turn 3, but I refuse to refer to it as turn 3. Because turn 2 is just a, like, full throttle kink. It's like, that's not a turn.
Oh, look at you. You can do math and stuff. Must be nice. I can barely even count 75,000.
So, for the record, the prototypes, which, unfortunately, Mr. Edmonds has neglected to turn on the appropriate timing. But anyways, the prototypes are about 20 seconds a lap faster than the GT4s. So, like, it's... Once the blue flags come out, it's gonna get interesting.
Shouldn't you guys, I don't know, pick cars that are a little closer in pace?
I actually suggested that in the admin chat was ignored.
Fair enough. You guys do whatever you want, as long as you're doing it on Macau.
It's... Oh god, this car combo at Macau. Oh god. Sweet Jesus. It'd be the end of the world.
I'm fine with it.
You can see that Martin is actually already caught up to the back end of the GT4 crowd, which means Mike Stoppmill's already lapping people, and we're not even 10 minutes into the race.
I wish there was like a lapped counter. It's like, Stoppmill has lapped the field twice.
Well, we actually have that, because we can see that Peter Stefani is already down a lap.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And more will come, I assure you.
Right. I always knew that was there, and kind of in the back of my mind understood what it was about, and just never really thought about it.
Larry Foster on the tail of Martin Hughes in that KTM, the only one who braved the KTM. By the way, that's Mike Stoppmill behind them coming through.
It's your boy Ricky Spanish.
Indeed, Enrique Hervas with a rare appearance here, which is nice. The prototypes seem to always bring Enrique to the table. Richard DeRoche looking to make a move on Sean Kenny, and it looks like he has done so. This is a battle of the two, pardon me, it is not the two Red Devil cars. He's in the Wayland car. Sean is in what is called the Red Devil Gainsco car. And Sean is losing another spot to the other Red Devil car there of Max Simmons, apparently.
Red Devil Fight Club?
Red Devil Fight Club, baby.
Represent!
Fedor Emelianenko, Alexander Emelianenko, Amar Sulev, Andrei Semenov. I think that's about as far as I can get.
Roman Zentov?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Roman Zentov. And another one, actually, Baby Fedor, Kirill Sedelnikov.
Yeah, probably the last guy to come out of that.
And also Ivan Emelianenko, the third Emelianenko brother.
Yvonne.
Who apparently was actually the best one of the bunch, they thought.
Would like to see that.
He elected to stick with the Sambo.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
Less brain trauma.
He apparently had a little bit more of like Alexander's explosive athletic ability and a little bit more of the dedication of Fedor. So a little bit of a halfway point.
I really would like to see that.
I've seen some Sambo matches. It's damn impressive. Back to Javier Perez-Torres, putting the pressure on Sergio Mengual, and behind them it is Alexander Salutko. Mengual goes wide, and Javi is back into third place.
Go Javi, go Javi. It's your birthday. Get your drive on.
He's got that fresh new PC, and he's loving it.
Tyrannosaurus Max up in this bitch.
Mike Stoppmill is trying to make his way through there. I think that's Stoppmill anyways. Problem is that we have 3 of the visiting Florida cars, and there's no way for me to really tell which one is which.
Do not molest the Gators.
Yes.
They have meth now.
Now with meth.
Can I get the Gator? No meth. Hold the meth. Thank you.
Actually, you know, Wayne Hutchinson's car there, very simplistic, but I actually rather like that color combo.
What, with the chartreuse and the paisley?
Mm-hmm. As you can see, one of the prototypes making its way through there. Actually, a bunch of them. Through the GT4 traffic. Mengual has gotten back past Javi. I think he used the the Daytonas going through to set up that overtake. So nicely done.
I think their fast cars should have those cow catchers on the front, and they just knock the slow ones out of the way.
Quick shout out to John Barker, who's up in 5th place there. He's in that Visit Florida car, the blue car there. Doing quite well with his promotion to the top class of the Enduro. He, of course, has previously been a GT4 man, so making his way into the prototypes.
Top men.
Top men. Chop man as well.
Chop guys.
Chop guys. Speaking of the chop guys, apparently the FTR had a really good match with SoCal Uncensored, so there you go.
Das ist gut.
SCU versus FTR.
I should really track some of that down. I keep forgetting I have unsubscribed from all wrestling channels that I previously used to watch because they are the hosts on all of them just get on my nerves. I don't understand why, but
Bertrand Barriere has made his way into 3rd place there, overtaking Ricky Spanish.
Bertrand Russell?
No.
Oh,
there is a channel that you might like. It's called Mark ED, and it's basically an RVD style intro, and he just does like Impact Wrestling's most embarrassing moments and shit. It's fun.
That's funny.
He's like top 10 bad decisions by Dixie Carter.
Oh God, like all of them. I used to really enjoy Wrestle Talk, but they just got bloated and the jokes were shit, and then they would just repeat the jokes over and over again. I just couldn't take it.
It's kind of like everything. At some point you get a little bit stale. And oh, Mike Stopbill, drive-through penalty for abuse of track limits. A rare mistake from the Flying Dutchman. He's out in front by 8.5 seconds, but that will be quickly eliminated with the drive-through. And there is Richard DeRoche on the tail of John Barker still. Surprised to see John holding him up here. Richard, of course, very fast in these prototypes.
Zumi Hicardo.
But the Visit Florida car manages to hold off Grande Hicardo. Sergio Mengual, in the meantime, battling with Alexander Saluko. So this race has gotten pretty bad for Mengual, actually. Still in 5th place, so still having a good race, but was up in 3rd, and now behind the Russian killer. Not for long, though, just as we say that. Makes the move. Looks like, if I may be honest, though, Saluko might be packing a bit of a high ping, just by the way that car is moving.
Maybe he should inquire about accumulating a little bit more Pong instead of the ping.
That's true. Someone really does need to come up with a networking term that you can use a short form as Pong. Like that.
Indeed.
That feels like just a boat that has been missed.
I am in agreement.
In the meantime, Michael Mag is still leading the GT4 charge with Zifo Duran on his tail. As Enrique Hervas on the tail of Barrier, so it is still Stothmill leading. He has not come in for his drive-through yet, as the pit window has just opened. And fill time while I get a beverage here, because I have hiccups.
God dang it, you're supposed to be a semi-professional and acquire your beverage before we go on the air. Oh my god, I can't believe this. I'm surrounded by people. I mean, in general, really. They're everywhere. Disgusting. We have your boy Tuxedo Duran, kind of cruising around, being a guy. Currently trying to overtake Mike Stofffield? No, that's not right. It's a different Mike. Possibly could be noted war criminal Michael Mangosteen. Mangosteen?
I am stealing that Tuxedo Duran line.
I've said it before.
I don't know how I haven't picked it up. That is awesome.
I was going to call him Roberto Duran, but I don't know who this Tuxedo Duran guy is, and I don't know if he's worthy of the title of the Hands of Stone.
He's a very good racer, I could say that much, as he is going down the inside of Michael Magus here for the lead of the GT4 category. Makes his way through. And in the meantime, Ricky Spanish up on the tail of, that is Barrier again. Stothmill in the pit lane, serving his penalty. And Magus got the lead back from Duran. That was basically the highlight of my entire race there, by the way, that fight, this fight right here with Duran. How do you like my new chosen livery there, the Silver Bullet?
It is very Coors Light of you.
Thank you, thank you. I need to make Coors Light puns the entire season.
Indeed.
So we got a tight battle here for the lead. Martin Edmonds has inherited the lead with Mike Stothmill in the pit lane, and he's got Bertrand Barrier and Enrique Hervas on his tail. And you can see them all in that shot there as the battle for GT4 supremacy continues between Magus and Duran.
I mean, I think that could all be solved if you guys just drove a lot faster.
You're not wrong. First pit stop has been done. It is James Butler who's been in and out and has rejoined in 9th place in the GT4 category.
Well done.
Yes. Oh god, some poor GT4 just got completely double-sided by the prototypes.
John Cena?
Was he the... Was it the prototype? It was the prototype. You're right.
Mm-hmm. See, I know stuff.
Back when John Cena was not a rapper yet.
No, he was a prototype.
He was Ruthless Aggression, which admittedly was a really good debut when he came out with the Kurt Angle challenge answer. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Barrier! Off the track, Martin Hughes also taking the escape road there to avoid any perhaps contact. Zifo Duran still chasing down Michael Magus.
Barrier might have hit a barrier.
Could be. Looking forward to seeing what Bertrand can do in a full season, actually. He's a relatively new addition to the ESR community.
I hear he smells like patchouli.
I can neither confirm nor deny. Wayne Hutchison making his way through traffic there in the form of Larry Foster and Dave Nelson. Oh, Dave Nelson spun it. Dave Nelson's got that IKEA-looking livery.
Darcy Parkinson will protest.
I remember last time we had a series that involved these Daytona prototypes, they actually completely screwed everything up because they became actually really unbalanced.
They had a hard time going around corners.
Now, what happened was we did a multi-class like this invitational series with Redline and a couple other communities. And what happened was the cars chosen were GT3s and P2s, which are prototype Type 2s, which are these Daytona prototypes, as well as a couple of other cars. And the problem was we realized that the Daytona prototypes have way different fuel consumption to the other P2s. And one race in, we were like, so this ain't gonna really work. Because basically the Daytona prototypes were having to make a complete second, like an additional pit stop to the cars they were racing because of their fuel consumption.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't have that problem if it was solar.
That is true, although in a solar car, I think you'd have to change the battery at some point.
No. It's all direct drive. You just hook it right to the sun.
Well, I'm just saying, like in an enduro race, you'd have a night phase where you can't actually, there is no sun.
Well, then you just gotta coast.
They've of course got the Formula E electronic car series going now, and the Jaguar I-Pace series, which is an all electronic series.
The Jag.
You know what? For an electric car, the I-Pace Jaguar car actually looks pretty good.
The Jaguar doesn't usually put out anything that looks like garbage. In my opinion.
It's a shame no one's running the Jag in the ACC series. I'm trying to remember if the Jaguar GT4 is coming or not. I think the answer was no. My God, these prototypes are just dancing around the GT4s when they come up to them. It is ridiculous. By the way, Mike Stockmill served a drive-through penalty and is up into third place again, hunting down the leaders.
Well, I mean, Martin is incredibly slow. He's probably holding the entire race up. It's just atrocious.
Martin was having all kinds of problems with flat spotting his tires in practice. Are you familiar with what the flat spot is, actually?
It's like the wet spot, but less fun.
Flat spot is when basically you either break or lose grip or abuse the tires in any way that leads to, well, the tire being less round and more flat.
Yeah, well, like I said, stop drifting every corner. That'll probably stop happening.
Peter Stefani's been in and out of the pits. He has served his mandatory stop. Mike Stockmill with a run here into turn 3 on Enrique Hervas. Ricky Spanish. Oh, did you check out the Roger and Jeff video I sent you the other night?
I do remember clicking on it. I don't remember what happened because I had been drinking. Oh, was that the one where you attacked them randomly all the time?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I think you shared that one with me before.
Probably.
I remember clicking on it, and I don't remember the rest other than recognizing what it was.
I do forever always love the. Geez, I'm just trying to help the kid out. I'm gonna rape him this time.
Ugh. That kid's dark.
It's a dark video. By the way, Martin Edmonds is getting side to side with Mike Stockbill, and that's it's not a place you generally want to be.
It is a bad idea because he will put you in the wall.
Mm-hmm. Although there's a lot of runoff here, it would be really hard to put someone in the wall.
I mean, you just gotta be dedicated.
Yeah, but then you're like sacrificing your own race to put the guy in the wall.
I mean, it depends on how good you are at racing, I guess.
I did almost have a heart attack the other night. I was doing an ACC server to prep up for today's race, which the commentary should be up sometime this evening or tomorrow. Anyways, and someone named Jay Rutu actually joined the server and was like, "Oh, sweet merciful Jesus."
That is awesome and hilarious.
It was not Yarko Rutu, sadly. It was UC Rutu. Maybe a relation? I don't know.
We can only. I mean, even if I wasn't related to Yarko Rutu, I'd still claim I was.
I mean, admittedly, there are 3 famous Rutus that have played in the NHL, and they're all not related, so I'm assuming that the last name is actually relatively common.
I thought he had a brother that played in the NHL.
He did, but I mean, like, there are 3 separate Rutu families that have been in the NHL.
Oh,
so
I see what you're saying.
I'm assuming that it's a relatively common Finnish name if you're in Finland and wish to confirm or deny. Please do.
Which fin, though? Pectoral? Dorsal?
Dorsal would be ideal. Zifo Duran going for the move on Michael Magus here. Lead position in the GT4s is up for grabs. And that got very close. I'll admit that live, that didn't feel that close, but that was very close. In the meantime, Mike Stockmill is back into first place.
Shocker there.
So we got Stockmill leading from Martin Edmonds, Enrique Hervas, Bertrand Barrier, Richard Durocher, your top 5 in the prototype category. In the GT4 category, it is Michael Magus leading from Zifo Duran, Javi Perez Torres in third, Sergio Mengual, and Alexander Saluko. Should be mentioned, though, the wild cards, of course, are Peter Stefani and James Butler, who have pitted, and the other GT4s have not yet.
That dude needs to have a purple livery so I can call him Alexander the Grape.
That would work.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a purple livery somewhere. Just letting everyone enjoy the sounds of race room.
Ah, get out of my way, you son of a bitch!
In seriousness, the audio quality in this game is actually some of the best you'll find in sim racing. Even though I've started to have some problems with their kind of constantly changing physics model that I can't really figure out what the goal is of.
Make things go fast. Gotta go fast.
That is definitely not the goal.
Make everything go a million miles a second.
So they're trying to put together a new main event for Fight Island in like 1 week notice. And,
oh, they've already got it.
Have they officially signed the Masvidal Usman
yeah.
fight?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I was semi-hard.
That's, to be honest, a much more interesting fight than Usman versus Burns was. In fairness.
Yeah.
I like Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns without the threat of a takedown is just not super interesting.
Gilbert, third-degree Burns.
Somebody really should use that nickname. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot the Fire Marshal was pretty fucking classic.
The Fire Marshal is great because he actually is a firefighter as well. So I mean, you know, there is that. And then Kevin the Fire Burns, of course, but no third degree.
Somebody with last name Burns needs to name their kid Ward. So it looks good on, like, documentation. Burns, Ward, Burns, Ward.
Very true. Now, of course, it should be mentioned, of course, Gilbert Burns is Brazilian, so, you know. Max Simmons goes for the overtake, and I think overshot that significantly.
Yeah, but Brazilians give their kids weird names that you'd never expect either. Like, the one Brazilian guy I knew in real life, his name was Wallace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just look at MMA, and you have your proof. Mauricio Delgado rejoins after his pit stop. He's hauling a lap down, unfortunately, to most of the prototype competition, so he's having a bit of a lonely race. Duran's still on the tail of Magus, and behind them, that is, I believe, Martin Edmonds coming up to lap. The pace difference. That pace difference. Jesus Christ.
You want I should get out and push?
I mean, it would help. Extra Byron horsepower. And there's Enrique Hervas zipping through as well. It's just comical watching these prototypes lap the GT4s. So Enrique Hervas in the pits, first of the front runners to come in. I shouldn't say that because it looks like Mike Stockmill is also in the pit lane. And Mike Stockmill is always a front runner, let's be honest. Martin Edmonds also in the pits. Richard Roche, Wayne Hutchison in the pit lane. Sean Kenny's going long.
Giggity.
And here comes Max Simmons coming out behind Mike Stockmill, so... Yeah, Mike Stockmill has in fact served his pit lane, his pit stop. He is still ahead of everyone but one person. Drive-through penalty, track limit abuse, Martin Hughes, that's the KTM.
What a reckless human being. He should be suspended for life.
Hughes and Larry Foster, by the way, have made their pit stops, so they are... Well... Hughes is not done with the pit lane today because he's got that drive-through. Javier Perez-Torres has taken the lead over Magus and Duran. I wonder if something untowards occurred between the two of them.
Maybe you should tell us.
I really don't actually know what happened. I need to go look at the replay. Zifo did go up down my inside, and I don't know if I shut the door on him or he was shoving his nose where it didn't belong. Not sure. But either way, we ended up with contact, and it let Javi through.
Tyrannosaurus Max to the front.
As one of the Visit Florida cars there zips between Duran and Magus. Don't know which one it is, though.
Both of them.
And Zifo Duran takes second place, but that is because Mike Magus is in the pit lane to take his service. So he'll be looking to get out ahead of James Butler, and if he can do that, he will be a very happy camper.
Put him in the wall.
I've tried to put James Butler in the wall. It doesn't usually work all that well. He's very stubborn about it.
I can understand that.
If you want to see the most amusing pit stop of all time, go check out my channel, Mio Nerd, and watch the Silverstone GT Challenge video, because I fucked that pit stop up hard.
You just power slide in there backwards and then go 93 miles an hour to get out of there?
So, well, the problem with ACC pit stops is they have a very narrow box where you can actually stop and your pit crew will work on the car, and I couldn't find it. So it was like forward, all right, throw it in reverse, forward again, throw it in reverse again. It was the Austin Powers in the very narrow hallway with the cart.
Very
basically.
nice.
Martin Edmonds on the tail of Enrique Hervas beat him out of the pit lane. Interesting. They overtake. I'm guessing that was Mauricio Delgado, who is down a lap to them, who let them through. Magus has made his way out of the pits ahead of Mr. James Butler, so he is on pace to possibly regain his lead. But it is currently Javier Perez Torres leading the GT4 category. And that man, Alexander Sluko, just taking third spot off of Sergio Mengual. Edmonds getting past Hervas into third. Max Simmons going deep once again. Max Simmons has developed himself into like the most bizarre late pit stop guy on the planet. Like, unlike Wayne Hutchison, who used to be the last of the pit stop guys and was like really smooth, really methodical, Max Simmons, who's, because of his paying kinda all over the place, has developed into the last guy to ever pit, which is strange.
He just gets the notification about the pit window after everybody.
Way too late or something, I don't know. I think he was the last guy to pit today in at Silverstone. Hervas still on the tail of us, or well, I shouldn't say still, recently on the tail of Martin Edmonds, who's gotten through there, catching up to James Butler and either a lapped car or, yeah, that would be a lapped car because Mike Magus is the one that is ahead of Butler, and that is not him.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I am. I'm the silver bullet.
Fair enough.
Sergio Mengual into the pit lane. He is one of 4 GT4s yet to stop. The lone Lotus in the field today. So it is Simmons, Torres, Duran, and Sluko yet to make their pit stops.
And they never will.
I mean, I'd hope they would, because otherwise they would get like a massive time penalty.
9/10 of 1 second.
So Stop Mill still in the lead here with about 23, 24, a little less than 24 minutes left. Stop Mill leading and holding away from Max Simons, who is still yet to pit. And then it is Martin Edmonds and Enrique Hervas, Richard DeRoche, and in the GT4 category, it is the 3 non-pit stopping cars of Javier Perez Torres, Zifo Duran, and Alexander Sluko. Then it is Sergio Mengual and Michael Magus. So Mengual has jumped Magus in the pit stops.
Did he use a knife or what's going on there?
He is Spanish, so inevitably it was a machete.
Whoa! Accurate.
Insert some Pycroft quote from Major Sharp and about soldiering and how the Spanish are all bastards. I don't know. Whoa! Enrique Hervas kind of shoved Mengual there and ended up paying the price for it. These prototypes have got to be careful when dealing with the much heavier GT cars.
Just got to hit him at higher speeds.
I think bizarrely that actually would make it worse for them.
That is kind of the joke, yeah. Relative physics being what it is.
Richard DeRoche still on the tail of... had to look at who that was for a second. Enrique Hervas. Hervos getting very off track there. A lot of people do not know Chang, the destination of speed. Lesser known track that's in Race Room, as DeRoche, I think, got that job done against Hervos. But very fun track, home of WTCR. Used to be home of WTCC when that was still a series.
And also the home of DMT. And PCP.
Yes. I mean, probably. I will say there was a funny story about a race that was here once where they were like, they hadn't really built anything around the track. So when the race came, all the drivers were really, really disappointed that they had to go to a mall food court to get lunch. Because there's apparently a shopping mall not too far from the track, but that's about it. Like there was no other catering provided. Sluco in the pit lane, so that leaves us with just Torres and Sims. Although Torres must be in the pits because he's behind Sluco, so I think he's in the pit lane, and it's just Max Simmons who's out there charging his original tires. So here comes Javi P. Was the leader of the GT4 category before the pit stop. Will he retain? The big question is Mengual. Basically. Mengual, by the way, also jumped Duran in the pits, so good pit stop from the Lotus crew. And it looks like Javier Perez-Torres has retained the lead from Sergio Mengual, and we'll see where Sluco comes out to finish up this top 5. It'll be behind Duran, apparently, as well as Mengual. Michael Magus in P5. Looks like he is coming out ahead of Sluco, so he'll be in P4. Martin Edmonds down the inside of Max Simons. Max, I'm going to give you a hint, my friend. I think you have overstayed your welcome on those tires.
He's just trying to graduate up to hovercraft status.
I mean, when your tires are so gone that Martin Edmonds is like, sir, so the tires are gone. You need to get in the pits. Enrique Hervos has seen better times as he is now battling for 5th place with Bertrand Barrier and gets the very nice attempt down the inside, but did not work out as they try to hunt down Richard DeRoche. Trying to get himself still in front of Barrier there. It's been a rough day for Hervos. Looked like he was in position for a pretty easy podium. Now he's back in 6th place, although that might be 5th place once Simmons finally does take his pit stop. And speaking of Max Simmons, there he is, exploring new and unusual spots of the track on his way to the pit lane.
He is just trying to pit everywhere he can. He's just trying to be open-minded about things.
Ooh, we got an academy battle here. Salutko versus Butler over 5th place. These two had some run-ins in the academy series and are back at it here.
Did you make sure to take the knives away from him?
Are you saying the Butler did it?
Could be. Lead pipe in the kitchen.
Well, I was gonna say, was it a knife in the foyer? I've only once in my life met a butler. It was very unexpected, actually.
Was his name Faversham?
His name was actually Jeeves, which is terrible.
Correct. Oh, yeah, we had this conversation before about how you think butlers choose like a stage name.
I think so, to be honest. Either that or like there's a long line of butlering families that always like, you know, Jeeves the 8th or something. Hervas going for the move there on Barrier and moves into 4th place. So the hunt for the podium is not over for the Spaniard. Barrier coming back at him. Barrier. I don't know how to say his name actually. This is
It's Bertrand.
Well, the Bertrand part I get. Just saying, I've seen that last name pronounced a couple of different ways. And Bertrand, if you could send me a little clarification, it'd be nice.
And all pronunciations are incorrect because it's actually just Jones.
He really shoved Enrique out there, actually. Man, Enrique is not happy. He's got the flashing lights going. Not sure I blame him. That was a physical overtake for a prototype battle. Martin Edmonds dashing through the battle for 5th place in the GT category between James Butler and Alexander Saluko. "15 minutes to go. We are at 3/4 distance."
And they all mysteriously explode at once.
Saluko lost the spot to Butler for the time being, but he might be able to come back at him. Whoa, okay, that I didn't expect it to be that quick.
That's what you get for having a horrible livery.
Butler spins. I know you hate that livery. I think he picks it just to spite you.
Yeah, he's raced it a long time.
Yeah, but I feel like he's kept it just to spite you.
I would doubt it, but I also wouldn't be totally shocked.
Sounds like something a butler would do. Does this look like something a sponge would do?
Maybe.
It's a Simpsons thing.
Gross.
It's Otto the bus driver, Bart. He's like, maybe your dad is right. Maybe I am just a bum. And Bart goes, he didn't call you a bum. He called you a sponge. And he gets like super angry about it. Does this look like something a sponge would do? And I'm like, okay. I've never seen someone react to being called a sponge like that. Enrique Hervas zipping through the lap traffic, hot on the tails of Bertrand. One of the, I want to say Dave Nelson getting very off the track there. This race has kind of turned against him. He's back in 19th place. 9th in this class.
Maybe you should study harder.
9th in a class of 10 is not a good place to be. That is bottom 20 percentile. Speaking of bottom 20 percentile, the one true Kyle now is feuding with Time Bomb.
Ooh, interesting.
I think it'll be a fun feud. Oh, and in MMA action, you knocked out Bobby Southworth. So there you
Oh, Bobby Southworth. Did I go all the way down to lightweight to do that?
go. Nah, he came up to heavyweight.
That's probably a bad plan.
I mean, I don't think he can cut down to 205 no more, so.
That is probably an accurate statement.
Had a hard enough time on The Ultimate Fighter. He was the original weight cut problem. Although, to his credit, he made it both times. It was Kenny Stevens was the first one to miss the weight. Trivia fact for everybody.
And he was summarily executed.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. His MMA career ended. I will go that far. Hervos is still running in 5th place, but not really on the tail of Bertrand anymore. The fact that we're looking at this battle suggests to me everything else is kind of spaced out a little bit. And congratulations, knock on wood, Javi Perez Torres still leading the GT category.
You can do it! I think Stoffmeal already finished the race.
Nah, he's got 10 minutes to go. But he's now 32 seconds ahead of Martin. Keep in mind, he had a drive-through penalty. It is ridiculous right now.
And he made 19 pit stops.
He is, at this point, lapped Mika Watt and... not Mika Watt, Wayne Hutchison. There's a guy named Mika Watt in the ACC series, by the way. And
Yeah, I've seen him on Discord.
Might have lapped Sean Kenny at this point, actually, as well. Simons, I think, is probably still on the lead lap. Just trying to guess with the gaps here because of how long is a lap and how long is that gap. So
17 feet.
Action Express Racing. I didn't realize that was the name of Ricky Spanish's team there.
Yeah, if there were 50 of them, that would be a good handgun caliber.
Putting a lap on one of the BMWs. I think probably Peter Stefani would be my guess. Max Simmons also working his way through there, putting a lap on Sergio Mengual.
The Mangler.
It's a very Spanish podium we got going on right now in the GT category. Mexican leading for 2 Spaniards. Max Simmons making his way through the back traffic. Speaking of our leader, actually, there he is in the blue BMW, not in the foreground, but in the background. That is Javier Perez Torres, the GT leader.
He is the best in the entire car.
I mean, I would hope so, because if there's another guy in the car there that's better than him, why is he not driving?
That's the joke.
Was watching an interview with Jerry Ryan, of course, of 7 and 9 fame from Star Trek, When asked what her favorite scene to shoot was her answer was the only one that is fitting, the one where she got to beat up The Rock.
She had a crazy stalker there for a minute.
Not surprising.
Apparently, they caught him trying to get onto the lot where they were shooting.
It's never a good plan to stalkers out there. You will get caught, and security will beat you a little bit.
Correct. And then you go to jail because you were not only stalking somebody, but mysteriously resisting and being violent.
Are you saying like the Family Guy? the great display of police brutality. So, hey, Peter, check this out. It's an automatic arrest machine. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, won't be provided. Cleveland, the black guy's like, let me try. Cleveland, don't do it. Minority suspect. Minority suspect. Watch out. He's got a gun. Now that is systemic racism.
Correct.
Max Simmons up on the tail of John Barker. Talk about conflicting schools of thought of racing here. John Barker, silky smooth. Max Simmons is honestly the punk rock of racing in ESR. For about 5 minutes left, so probably 4 laps to go here in this shakedown race here at the Destination of Speed, Chang, in lovely Thailand. One of the headlights on Martin Hughes is out there, so at some point the KTM has had a violent encounter with something hard.
It was a water buffalo.
That's an option. Time ticking down here in the preseason run here, the shakedown. Figure out how the cars work and everything, and it's a pretty decent race, pretty good. As Max Simmons capitalizes on a mistake there by John Barker and gets a run down the inside. I think that's race leader Mike Stoppel actually ahead of him. And Barker is not going to be able to do anything there in the Spirit of Daytona car. Don't forget, visit Florida.com. But don't go to Florida right now. There's meth crocodiles and well, the coronavirus in general.
And then there's Floridians.
I mean, yeah, but people still go there despite them being there 365 days a year. So
I suppose.
It's kind of like that chapter where like he's like 25% of my stuff comes from Florida.
He did like 2 weeks straight of nothing but stuff from Canada, I think.
Yeah. But like that was like him trying to do a theme, whereas like the Florida stuff, he's just like, I swear I'm not trying to do this. Max Simmons, I think that's Matt. Wow, Max, there's a thing called track limits there, buddy, and you are exploring strange new places. We'll just put it that way, and it gives a spot back to John Barker.
He's young. He's experimenting.
He is young, so you are correct. I believe he is the youngest driver in the field today.
You're just saying that because he's 12.
I don't think he's 12, but I haven't pinned down the age.
Fair enough. Have you asked him?
No.
No, fair enough.
I'm more just game to let it continue to be like a source of speculation, to be honest. I do not know any of the racers' like specific age, just kind of like a ballpark.
They're all 37. All of them.
Be interesting. Be interesting. Oh, Sean Kenny, and that is Max Simmons and Sean Kenny coming together. Speaking of Florida people, Sean Kenny.
Florida driver.
That's not fair, technically. Sean Kenny's been all over the place. Well, Javier Perez Torres is under siege here from the Lotus of Sergio Mengual here for the lead. Less than a minute to go here in the race, so they are approaching what should be their final lap. Enrique Hervas going through there ahead of them. Hervas has not managed to get to grips with Bertrand in a while, so that battle appears to be finito. Go Javier! Depending on where Mike's stop mill is, this should be the final lap, but it depends how close he is to the start-finish line. If he comes across it in the next 20 seconds, they will get one more after this.
I think he should just get bonus points for getting to the front, getting to the finish line before anybody else.
I mean, he does. He gets to be the winner.
What if he just hits the brakes right before and waits for the thing and then goes across?
Then he would end the race and prevent an extra lap. Be very cool of him. I'm sure Javi is down with that plan.
Just come around the corner and do donuts until time expires and then go across.
I mean, he is 45 seconds ahead of Martin Edmonds, so he could totally do it. Looks like we'll get one more lap from these guys. GT leader Javier Perez Torres still leading from Sergio Mengual here towards the finish line that will start their final lap. Classic BMW on the front bumper there. Oh, Javi has got problems. Javier Perez Torres is spun out. Checkered flag is out.
Javi, why have you done this to me?
It's not sure if he finished the race. Sergio Mengual has gone ahead of him. I think the race is still on, and this is horrible news for Javi. Michael Magus is done in 4th place, so Javi will get on the podium. He's got that going for him because 4th and 5th place appear to be done. But a horrible turn of events there for Javier Perez Torres. And it is allowed the Spaniards to sneak a 1-2. Sergio Mengual ahead of Zivo Duran.
Why, Javi, why? Should we start an investigation into Javier possibly point shaving?
He claims a suspension failure.
Like on his chair?
No, in the car. Enrique Hervas coming to the line. And I'm assuming this is the race leader. Nope, this is John Barker. That might be the race leader behind him, Mike Stockmill, though.
I think Mike Stoffmill is behind everybody at this point. Because he's so far out in front.
He's just the boogeyman at this point. He is Baba Yaga. Mike Stockmill is your winner from Martin Edmonds, Richard DeRoche, Bertrand Barriere, and Enrique Hervas in the prototype category. In the GT category, it is Sergio Mengual who gets a win handed to him at the end. Zifo Duran, Javier Perez Torres, Michael Magus, Alexander Salutko, your top 5. Anything you want to say to the people before we head out of here, Byron?
Don't molest the gators.
Solid advice. I will co-sign that bit of advice. And until next time, we got the, as aforementioned, the ACC GT Challenge race should be uploading right now, and or been onto the process of editing. I don't know. And upcoming, we got the 3D speed round at Imola this week. Finally, assuming they don't launch another update on us and make us delay the race again. At that point, there may be a murderous rampage down the middle of the Greater Toronto area.
Neato.